idea.
Recording in
Wait, am
three.
I introducing?
Yeah. Recording in three,
Oh shit.
two, one. Now we're recording. We've been recording, but I wanted to just say
To
that so
like
you
what?
know.
Ease me in and okay. All right,
Exactly.
all right.
What's going on, guys?
Are you lost, baby girl?
Welcome to the 3BB podcast with me, yours truly, Ninj and Mike. This episode is the first episode. Damn, I just repeated myself, but the I think the title that we were going for is home, or
Mhm.
like
The topic of this podcast.
the topic. There you go.
Yeah, like the idea of this topic came to me when I was talking to someone else on Tin Can, and they were the whole conversation was about feeling at home and like being at home with the people they work with. But then, like we had so many different definitions of what home is to us, and I was like, this
Hmm.
is a very interesting topic. And then I remembered Abby can't like how she was brought up was very much different from how I was brought up. And then there's also Kuya Mike, who also has this whole different journey in his life that there's like similarities between all of us, but there's like huge differences as well. And I wanted to see how you guys thought of it, like how do you define home, or when or where is it that you feel most at home, you know?
Yeah, exactly that.
Man, it's kind of a hard question to answer, to be honest, especially if you've like moved places and stayed there.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Who should start first? Okay, so with me, I come from the south side of our collective country, our, of origin, Philippines,
Hmm.
and for my family, it was like back and forth. Like, let's see, I was in New York for like a year when I was 4 years old. Went back to the Philippines, and then came back to Las Vegas when I was 8. And ever since then, it's been back and forth. Um, so it's like it feels like I've spent the majority of my years in Vegas, but also like 3/4 of it back home just by coming in back and forth. And I feel like as a result, I have like 1/4 of the knowledge that I should be having in terms of like my own culture. You know, like I don't know too much. Yeah.
Hmm.
What about you guys? How much time have you spent in the country that we all come from and the country that your family has immigrated to?
Okay. So for me, I was practically born and raised in the Philippines. So I was living in the Philippines for 17 years, and then I moved to Canada like around 2015. And when I was 18 onwards, that's pretty much the time that I've spent living in Canada. So I know, so pretty much I can say that I know the culture to some extent, but since like I haven't been back, well, I went back like one time in like 4 years that I've stayed in Canada, but even then it was just like a month. So it's kind of weird. When I went back, it feels like nothing has changed, but also at the same time, some things have changed. So I don't I don't really know how to explain it. It's more like when you see it, you notice like different stuff here and there. But yeah, I think I'm pretty in tune with the culture.
As someone who
Mm-hmm.
hasn't spent too much time back in the homeland, I would agree with that. Your first 17 years is like very formative, you know? So
Yeah.
I could definitely say that you're like you're definitely how do you put this? Like you definitely grew up there, like for sure, undisputable. Is that's it?
Yeah, definitely. What about you, Ninja?
Well, I'm the opposite to you guys. Like, I was born in the Philippines, but as a kid, like, I was very much, I think around 3 months. Then my mom moved to Saudi Arabia with my dad, and I pretty much grew up there for, stayed there for like 18 years of my life. And then for college, I had to move to the Philippines. And now I've spent, I'd say, a third of my life here. So it's a huge change for me because I wasn't used to how people would do things over here. I wasn't used to how, like, I wasn't used to speaking Tagalog all the time. And over here, people will look at you differently if you always spoke in English, you know? So I had to adapt. I had to change things about myself in order to fit in, in quotations, fit in here in the Philippines. And the topic of home to me is kind of like it's very vague because to me, I feel like I don't have a physical home because when I define home, it's a place where I feel safe to be myself. And here, like being here, I kind of don't feel like being here in the Philippines, I kind of don't feel like I'm being genuine to myself, you know? I always have to this thing, the thought in the back of my head, like I have to conform to these type of cultural norms because this is what people here understand as normal, and to me that's not me. It's just something I have to do just so I don't get, judged too harshly or just to get looked upon in a weird way. And right now, like even now with my family, it's kind of hard to even say this is home because I don't know. I guess I still haven't found that home, that place where I am, you know? Ugh, does that make
Yeah,
sense?
it totally makes
Yeah, that
sense.
makes sense.
Yeah, that's how I felt coming over to the Philippines too um, for my last year of high school and first year of university. I definitely felt like I had to conform.
hmm Man, for me, it's kind of
It's
weird
mhm.
because, like, I still think of the Philippines as my home, but also at the same time, like, the physical space, the house that we used to live in, like, no longer exists. So, in a way, like, my idea of that home is sort of gone. Yeah, it's sad to think about it sometimes because I'm just like, I grew up there in that physical space, and it just sucks to not be able to visit it because no one has taken care of it, and pretty much like nature has um taken the space back pretty much. Like it's just a whole mess in there, and it feels like for me personally like a part of, I guess I would call it like a personal history where that place is sort of gone, and like I don't really have anything to show for it, because I don't even have pictures of the place that I used to live in with me in it as a child, like I've never I was never able to pretty much save the photos that I had when I was a kid that was stored in at my old house in the Philippines. So it kind of sucks to think about that one. Um, but also like here in Toronto, like it feels like home, but also not really. Like it feels very temporary. Like I guess not having like roots at a specific place makes it feel like you're not really attached to that place. Because I didn't grow up here, I just landed here. You know what I mean? So there's nothing that connects me in Canada, but I feel like at the same time, like spending more years and meeting new people, it's also kind of planting those seeds to start like, growing and stuff like that. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's my take on it.
I definitely agree with that. Home isn't. It's like 50-50. It's like home can be a place, but it's more about the people, the
Yeah,
experiences in that
yeah.
in that place. Yeah.
Yeah, oh my God. I was thinking about that last night, like, because I was like pondering upon the topic and like what I can say about it, and I was like, there's we all have this like physical home that we have in our minds that we would automatically connect ourselves to, you know? And then there's this
Mm,
metaphorical home where it's more connected to like memory instead of not just memory, like, but moments and people and like instances in our life, right? That we
yeah,
would say, this is home. This is where I feel most comfortable. This is where I feel most me, you know? And I had this whole conversation as well with this person about explaining to them how I hate being asked where are you from or where do you live? Because it's like I know I am Filipino. I'm from the Philippines, but I didn't grow up here. I don't really have strong, patriotic feels. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like if I were to be asked where is your home, I don't. In my mind always goes back to when I grew up in Saudi, the house I grew up in Saudi, the community I grew up with, the people I spent my 18 years with, and I guess that's like a huge impact on how I view things here in the Philippines, like how I view things now. Like even the culture that I show or the culture that I practice always have like a lot of hints from different parts of my life that other people may have influenced me from, be it any culture, any nationality, any race or whatever. And it's kind of contradicting to when I go out in public in here in the Philippines and I have to be like this Filipina girl who's very much, nagtatagalog and everything. And it's kind of like, oh, okay, back to my it's like you put on these shoes for the public. This whole freaking get up. I don't know. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I get you. I get you.
Like,
Um,
I want to ask, like, Kuya Mike, how did you feel about like how did you feel when you moved to the Philippines to study? Like that moment you came here, how was it? Like other than, feeling a bit uh the culture and everything.
I'm pretty sure I wrote down how I felt somewhere in like a journal or something. Let me check. I have a journal of just how just writing little notes here and there. No, I don't have any journal entries during that time period. If only. But how did I feel moving back home? When I moved to the Philippines for last year of high school, I was 16. I was not doing well. My family thought that I was on the fast track to become like a criminal. Like
Oh
they
my.
yeah, my family caught me doing stupid things, hanging out with the wrong people. I got caught shoplifting at Walmart, believe it or not.
Wow.
damn.
My
That's
dumbass.
another story to tell for another
Many
For
stories.
sure.
day. Yes, we gotta listen, we gotta know that sometime.
Yeah. I've plenty of stories, but that one was one of like the bigger portions where like my family was just so disappointed in me. Just they felt like I was headed in a bad way. So one day my mom comes to me and says, "Hey, listen, you have cousins who are going to the Philippines in Cagayan de Oro, which is like the
Mm-hmm.
northmost point of Mindanao. For those who don't know, it's like
Mm-hmm.
the northest of the South Island, if that makes any sense." And she said, "Hey, if you'd like, you can go over there." And I thought to myself, like, what do I have going on here? And I was like, not really much. So I like went through with it, and I remember being excited. I remember brushing up on my Tagalog as much as I could so I could speak to people. Um, I was the only one flying there, so I had to be more responsible, make sure that I catch all my flights, or else I would be screwed. Kind of like a test of my independence. When I get there,
Mm-hmm.
like it's like a rush of memories because every time you step off of like that plane, you feel like the first time you're in the Manila Ninoy Aquino Airport, it's humid and you feel that through the gaps, right? You can feel like the moisture in the air and you're like, ah, I'm
Yeah.
home. That's definitely
Mm-hmm.
one small detail that lets you it reminds you like where you're at. I step off the plane, um I get hit by that humidity. I start talking to people, and I talk to them in Tagalog, that like Taglish, and they could tell that I'm from
Yeah.
Oh
America just
yeah.
because of my accent. And some of them looked
Mm-hmm.
at
Yeah,
me
yeah.
and they said like, "What's daw?" Which is just like Bisaya for like what? What did he say? And that's when I
Yeah.
realized that everyone there spoke Bisaya and not Tagalog. So I was like, okay, this is what it feels like to move to a foreign country. So yeah, it felt like moving to a foreign country for sure.
Yeah, I was about to note that. Interesting how you said it's a foreign country when it is technically your roots,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
for sure.
Right?
Yeah,
It's interesting. Like it's weird. Okay.
a lot of people deal with that, especially with my current friends. Like, well, that sounded so bad. My current friends, my close, my squad, my close friends. Like,
Current.
it really did feel bad saying that. Out of everyone in my group of friends, I'm the one who's like most fluent in Tagalog and Bisaya. If we were to suddenly go back home, I could definitely be like the speaker of the group. And so I feel
Mm-hmm.
like from the top of my head, I can think of 9, 10 different people who would come home and feel alienated in their own country of origin. Yeah, and that's what it was like for me moving back home.
Mm-hmm.
I can't really
Yeah.
say that. I can't say that from the experience Philippines was my home because it didn't feel like home for the first 2 years. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's all I gotta say
Yeah,
about that.
I can totally relate to that. Moving to the Philippines, I didn't really speak Tagalog as much
Mm-hmm.
because even with my family, we usually speak English and rarely Tagalog because I have a younger brother who is autistic. He has autistic um, spectrum disorder, and his language is English. So we'd always be communicating with each other in English. And when we're outside, now that they've moved back to the Philippines, when we're outside and I'm speaking with them in English, it's kind of like I don't want my brother to feel the way that I felt, that kind of like being an outcast. So I try my best to like stay in Tagalog so that he can slowly start to pick up Tagalog words because like I especially from someone with that condition, I feel like it's going to be a lot more harder emotionally and mentally for them to deal with this whole change of lifestyle, this whole change of culture, wherein people don't usually talk to you in English. People would look at you differently if you act differently, if you talk, in a way that they don't talk. So it's kind of hard to explain to your brother, and it's kind of painful to see when he gets treated differently or he gets treated the way you were treated when you moved to the Philippines, you know? So again, home is weird, and I don't know. It's kind of like it's a broad topic, and it's a very, like I feel like home is more of a memory to me or instances compared to a place, really. Yeah. Yeah.
I
No,
would
that's
say,
fair though.
yeah. Hmm. What are the places that the two of you feel at home? Not necessarily the house that you live in.
Oh, I got I've got a multiple of places. Like, you're talking about like physical places, right?
Yeah, or just places that have memories. Places that you feel at home that are not the house that you live in.
That's
Oh,
interesting.
to me that would be Baguio. But then in Baguio in itself, there's like it's not the city, but more of like places in the city that made me feel at home. Like
What are these
one
places?
would be like my best friend's house,
Yeah, yeah, I see that.
you know, and another would be because I'm a youth leader, so the church office, if that makes sense. That place always made me feel welcome. Like my opinions, my ideas, my understanding of different things, they'd always make me feel homey, welcome, warm, you know.
I see, I see.
What about you guys?
For me, very similar to what you said. It's my brother's house. He has a guest room, and I knock out in there like all the time. And he and his girlfriend have like made it explicitly clear that at any time I could just come by, hang out with them, like spend the night. Sometimes I would spend like 3 whole days there just hanging out with them. Definitely feels like home. And then I also, like do my share of the chores and stuff. If things need to be cleaned, then I also do that, which also adds to the home
Hmm.
factor. Like I feel like the people who live there are really the only ones that need to maintain it, and that adds to it. Also,
In a sense, like you take care of your own home
yeah,
since you consider it your home, right? Yeah.
yeah. Also boxing gyms. I've been to like 7, and each one that definitely gives me this feeling.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's like
Hmm.
despite being somewhat strangers with everybody there, over time you do see the same people, and there are people that you feel like you could, depend on to be there, to be your sparring buddies, and like
Mhm.
you kind of inspire each other and help each other out by punching them really, really hard in the face.
I felt that.
Dang.
It's funny, but kind of like when I joke about it, but there was this one guy at my last boxing gym. He was my age, and we talked. He was like half Chinese, and he was telling me like like his life, where he's going to be in like the coming months. And then like it was just interesting, like interacting with him. And then because we were the same height and build and weight, often we would spar with each other, and it's really weird, but I remember just how strong his his straight punches, his 1-2 combo. Like to this day, I remember what it feels like, and like kind of the taste of blood in your mouth. It sounds wild, but it's true. Like I do remember that. I do like it's very nostalgic to me. And yeah, I think that is a result of like feeling at home, with the people that you spar with. Yeah, that's all I gotta say about that.
Hmm. I mean, I have a similar experience. It's more of like my volunteer group that like I've attended for the past 5, 6 years. Like I've seen the same exact people every time I go there to volunteer, and like I ended up being friends with them. That's here in Toronto. So it was interesting because I've met them like in the different programs. Like we would be doing Creative Arts Friday, where we're just like, I don't know, doing some art stuff. And then we would meet up for the running group, and it's the same exact faces. And we've trained for a few races, like two 5Ks and
Hmm.
a 10K. So we've been through some tough stuff, like training wise. Um, yeah, like I feel at home whenever I go to that volunteer place. Like it's always such a good de-stressor for me, especially when school gets the best of me. And while I was attending like my first 3 years in university, that's usually the first place I stop by after my classes just to hang out and talk to my is it like youth workers? Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel that. And also like in the Philippines something similar happened. Like I was involved at a it's called like the Student Catholic Action of the Philippines. So they had that at the school, and there were like a few meetings. It's kind of complicated to explain, but pretty much the way you join the group is that you have to be consistent in attending the meetings and have been consistent in attending those. And in the end, there was like a reflection sort of time where you have to think about um, the things in your life, um, how it affects you. Like they really dig deep into you as a person. And that was life changing because the people that were with me in the same room that lasted for the entirety of the school year was my classmates too. And I don't know these people like personally, but after that sort of, let's say, journey, we've gotten a bit closer, which was great.
I feel like that's, would you say, a significant event? Like, kind of like revealed to people who you were?
Um, I'd say on some level, yes. Like they didn't, it wasn't so much as that it revealed a lot about me. It was like some aspects that sort of like, let's say, do I have some sort of guilt or anger that I've kept hidden? And they were just trying to make us feel like we have to. Oh, yeah, I don't know if you heard that one, but there was like the street or whatnot.
We totally heard it.
But yeah, sorry. But pretty much, um, that's what happened. Damn, I got I lost track because of all that.
No worries.
Got
You guys
distracted.
go through that every time I go live.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
It makes me feel like you live like immediately at the street, Ninja. Like in a high traffic
I
area.
do.
Oh,
I'm
We
gonna
do.
close the window.
We live next to the national road, so all the cars, all the trucks, all the freaking tricycles, the motorcycles pass by. even late at night.
I see.
So, yeah, recording is pretty hard in my place.
Yeah, man, I feel you on that.
Yeah.
Hmm. I feel like we covered so much in just 30 minutes. Oh, God. You guys.
I would agree with that.
But yeah, right? And it's so interesting to just see, like, again, we come from like different like different aspects of life and different upbringings and different, all that. And it at the same time, the way we view home, like in quotations, home, is yet still very similar to each other. Where home is not necessarily a place where you reside in. Home is not necessarily in the moment you are in. It can be so many different places scattered all over the place. It can also be like different moments in time of your life where you felt the most comfortable, you felt the most at peace, the most warm, and fuzzy feelings inside.
Yeah.
And it's very, interesting to listen to other people's stories and how they like their own, how do you call it, insights on these things. You learn a lot from other people and you get to understand them a lot better and you get to see the world from their eyes as well.
I agree with that.
Yeah, same here.
Okay. Do
Also,
you?
like I feel like home opens, like it makes up when you talk about home with someone, it makes them open to me, like in my opinion. It makes them open up a lot more,
Hmm.
and it makes them, how do I put this? Um, it's neutral grounds. It's a topic where you're not really prying too deep into their personal life, but yet you get a glimpse of them. Not just a glimpse, but a whole image, basically, on how they would define their home, what their home is, and how they would define where they feel at home and everything like that. You know?
Yeah, I agree. Hmm.
So yeah, a great first topic for our very first episode.
Do you feel like this is good enough?
It's a good note to end in.
I see, I see. Yeah. And if you guys liked, I do have a non-copyright song. I just looked it up. It's an OPM
Nice.
song. You could definitely play that
Oh,
song right
All
before we
right,
end this. Is that what you guys want?
sounds great.
Alright, alright.
yeah, go for it.
Let's do it then. The song is called Taka Lang by Eman.
Sobrang saya dahil nandito ka na. Kahit mamaya lang ay aalis ka na rin agad. Huwag ka sana mainis, panahon natin mabilis. Sandal mo muna sandali, di naman nagmamadali, diba? Tantay ka muna sa'king be, sulitin natin ang gabi. Yung mga problema itabi, labi mo sa akin idampi. Kahit anong lalim, aking sisisirin, di na mabibitin pa sa aking gagawin. Pabagalin muna natin ang ikot ng mundo. Ako'y sasayaw sa himig mo
And that's all we got for right now.
Hey,
That's pretty good.
that
Right.
was really fun.
Interesting.
Hmm.
Definitely learned more about the two of you.
Yeah, I feel the same
I
way.
learned a lot
I
about you
didn't know
guys.
about.
Oh, like I
Right.
said, it's a great topic to open.
Yeah.
Hmm.
What
Oh, I was gonna add something when Ninj said, um, I think of something about when someone asks you where
Yeah.
you're from.
uh-huh.
Mhm.
So earlier today, while I was out with my friend, um, she actually brought it up. She was like, I don't know what to say to people when they ask me where I'm from, because like her mind like automatically sort of asks herself like, or the person like, what do you mean? Like, do you mean the place that I was born in or the place that I'm staying now? So in a way, like I relate to that, like moving to a different place. I'm like, when someone asks me that, I'm just like, it takes me a while to reply like automatically, like my current location instead of,
Mhm.
you know, um, instead of saying like, yeah, I'm from the Philippines or whatever. But yeah, I thought that was interesting.
I felt that same way too. Whenever they ask me where you're from, in my mind, I'd also ask like, are you talking about the province my parents are from, or are you talking about where I grew up in? Because those are like so different things. And I'd always like I came to a conclusion about like after being asked so many times when I moved here to the Philippines about that, I came to the conclusion of just answering with, "Oh, my parents are from this province, but I grew up here." Like
Yeah.
I'll just keep it as that. And if they want to know more, I'll tell them more. But that's kind of where I am, where I'm from.
Well, for me, when a tita or a tito asks me like, taga saan ka, I always hit them with a
Mhm.
like Mindanao Gensan first, because I feel like that's a very common Filipino question.
Mhm.
Yeah. But nowadays I feel like I answer with just from Vegas. That's it.
And then they would follow up. I feel like this is another follow-up question would be, taga saan ka sa Pilipinas?
Oh yeah.
Always. That's just
Always a follow-up question.
I
Always.
understand it. I understand why they ask that though, and I love it because there's just so much culture
Mhm.
in the Philippines where
Hmm.
it's like they just have to know, see if you guys speak like similar dialects or have similar cultures and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
which
I think it has something to do with how people feel like the more like the whole kababayan thing. If you guys are from the same place, uh, I guess like it's very much like they feel a connection right away, you
hmm
know?
Yeah, yeah, I feel that.
Yeah.
dude, I feel it too.
Mhm.
Waiting for the day that someone in America tells me that they're from Jinsan too. Like, are you seriously? Really?
I'm from Jeju too. Damn.
I'm
As
pretty sure a
in?
lot of people are from Jensen, just scattered all over the place still.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
Waiting for the day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ah,
I think this is good for now. We can talk more about this some other
Yeah.
time.
yeah.
But what should the next topic be now that we're on this mindset right now?
Ooh, ooh.
What should the
Let me
next
bring up
topic
the
be?
notes.
Oh, that's right. We wrote down a lot of notes in our
It
Discord
was
chat.
It's
let me
pinned,
double
right?
check.
Mm.
what did I say in there?
I think it's in record keeping. Yeah. Oh, we talked about the third culture, kid.
Oh yeah,
Oh, that's interesting.
I feel
Like
that.
your cultural identity.
That's actually a big one that I do want to like write down and take notes on. It's the place that you're from, where you're immigrating to, and that special culture in between.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk about that.
I feel like there's gonna be like so many notes of it.
Yeah,
Oh
for
yeah, we
real.
can write it down.
This is actually a big thing for me, so I'm going to come into the second podcast guns out. It's a real big deal for me. All right.
Culture, you mean?
Yeah, the third culture, just like being just being an immigrant of any kind,
Mm-hmm.
or being the second generation um, of immigrant parents. Yeah, second generation immigrants. Yes, that makes sense. Yeah, we'll talk about
Yeah.
that next time.
Sounds good. Same
All right.
time?
Yeah, same time works for me.
Okay.
Okay, I'm just gonna drag it down.
Oh my gosh. I'll try to figure out freaking blue stacks.
Gotta figure
Oh
it
my
out.
god.
Gotta
I
figure it
really
out,
don't know
Ange.
why it didn't work. It is so weird. Last minute technical difficulties is the worst.
We managed. I don't think I could be the one to
Yeah, we
record it,
did.
but we managed.
Thank God. Oh gosh.
That's all that matters.
All right, let's end this live.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, ending this live in three, two, one.
Good night.
Take care.
Good night.